This week on CWN, the football team played in the regional finals last night.
And our theater program put on a smashing hit play. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Aaron. Today is Saturday, December 3rd, 2022. You're watching Calallen Wildcat News Weekly Review. We had a nice Thanksgiving break here at Calallen.
We sure did, especially with our football team winning second and third rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah, we played really well against Davenport and Somerset the last 2 weeks, and we'll cover all that when we get to sports, including the award Coach Campbell received from Dave Campbell's magazine.
We sure will, but now on to all the other great things that went on in Calallen. Starting off with our theater program, which hosted their play The Reluctant Dragon prior to the Thanksgiving break, elementary students were treated to an excellent performance by our casting crew.
Hayden spoke to some of our elementary teachers as they entered the auditorium prior to the performance.
I'm here with Ms. Collins and Ms. Hunter from the West Campus. So how are y'all kids feeling about coming to the play today?
They were really excited. They were looking forward to it all week.
Yes, when walking in, some of them have never been in the high school, so this is a very big experience for them.
How long have y'all been doing this stuff for the kids coming to watch the plays?
Oh man, we've been coming for years. I don't even know how many.
Yes, I started with the district in 2015, and we've been coming that long every year.
All right, thank y'all, and now back to the studio.
The cast of Reluctant Dragon then put on a show for the parents as well as a rare performance in front of our high school students in a packed house just before the break. Let's send it to Mr. Jones, the show's director.
Hey Cats, I'm here with Mr. Jones. So Mr. Jones, I heard the Reluctant Dragon had 5 performances over the past 2 days last week, so can you tell me how that went?
Yeah, so pretty much we did 2 elementary performances or 3 in total, Monday and Tuesday. So the little kids came in, they got to see the show. I think they really enjoyed it, just getting that experience, seeing the dragon in costume and the knights and things like that. And I think little kids love that. So I think those went really well. They were all yelling during it. They were very into it. We had a public performance Monday night for the parents. That went really well. One of our better ones, and then Tuesday for the 7th period, all you guys turned out. We appreciate you coming, even if it was just to get out of class. We loved having you guys there, so I would say it went pretty well.
That's really cool. And also I heard that for the 7th period you were doing a fundraiser for it. Can you tell me how that helped?
Yeah, so with the fundraiser, that kind of helps us be able to do more for you guys and for the school district and the community, things like that. I would say it helps us with UIL, our next show, which is The Death and Life of Larry Benson. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in here. Auditions are December 1st for anyone interested. We're looking for anyone that wants to audition, right? Tech, acting, things like that. But that fundraiser sort of helps us get ready for that, get anything we need so that we can be at a competing level with the schools around us, stuff like that. And I also hope to be doing some cool musicals here and things like that for next year. So those kinds of fundraisers, they just help us build towards that and get the community involved.
Perfect. Thank you. Back to the studio.
I actually know that you got to go see the play last Tuesday.
Yes, it was really neat. I know that the theater department worked really hard, and it was really neat to see it all put together.
Yeah, you can see the cast running back and forth with all their props, everything to get ready for the show. Mrs. Burkhart had a lab going over reaction time and what may help our students get a better understanding over vehicle accidents.
Good morning, Cats. My name's Emily, and today I'm here with Ms. Burkhart. So, Ms. Burkhart, can you tell us a little bit about the physics lab?
Yes, this is one of my favorite labs where students find their reaction time. It's kind of cool because you use physics to learn a little bit about yourself. And I love the application of it because we're going to look at how it affects our driving and what our stopping distance would be.
That's really cool. That's all from us. Now back to the studio.
Coach Bassina has been doing a fantastic job running our Special Olympic program this year. Earlier, she took some of our student athletes out for some fierce competition in bowling. Let's see how our CHS athletes performed.
Hello, Calallen TV. My name is Logan Braza, and I'm here with Coach Bassina today. So, Coach, it has come to our understanding that you guys competed in the Special Olympics bowling event. How did that go for you guys?
It went very well. We had several of our athletes competing on November 4th in Corpus Christi, Texas. We have 4 of our athletes who competed. One competed, but she's not here today, but I'll mention what she placed. We have Kerrigan. She got first place in her division. Say hi, Kerrigan. Okay. We have Jesus. He got first place in his division. say hi. We have Elizabeth. She got second place in her division. And then one of our students that's absent today, her name is Faith Torres. She got first place in her division. And we have Jose over there in the far right. He wasn't able to participate because he was out sick, but these are all our athletes that competed in Special Olympics.
That is so great to hear that so many of you guys did a great job during the Special Olympics. We hope to hear more about you guys in the future. And with that, now back to the studio.
Logan spoke to Mrs. Compton for an update on AutoCAD and what her students are currently working on.
Hello, Calallen TV. My name is Logan Braza, and I'm here with Mrs. Compton today. So, Mrs. Compton, we're here you're doing something called CAD. Now, can you tell me what is CAD?
CAD is computer-aided drafting, and so we're using 3D modeling software with my Intro to Engineering students.
Wow, that's great. And is there anything your students are doing?
Yes, so they're using Fusion 360, which is a 3D modeling program or a CAD program. And right now they're just learning the basics of how to make simple shapes and have a little fun with that.
That's cool. And is there anything they're going to be doing in the future, maybe like next week?
Yes, so in a week, actually, they're going to work on their own project. And they have to come up with their own designs, and then they're going to 3D model them in this CAD program, and then they're going to get to 3D print them with our 3D printers.
Wow, that's great, Mrs. Compton. We wish you guys luck on that. And with that, now back to the studio.
Thank you, Logan.
And it is now time to send it over the bridge. Let's take it to Isaiah Salinas for GP's Weekly Student Report.
Good morning, my name is Isaiah Salinas, and here's the latest of what has been going on here at GP. GP students competed in the LDE competition for FFA.
I did Greenhand Creed Speaking. Creed Speaking is a 5-paragraph kind of like essay thing. It's everything about FFA. You have to memorize it and speak it in front of 3 judges. And at district, which was 2 weeks ago, I got second in our district, and I advanced to area, and I got third.
And now on to mostly sports. Powerlifting season starts this week. Practice is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Powerlifting is going great, and we're going to practices and working hard.
GP girls basketball finished their tournament before Thanksgiving break and won 3rd place.
I feel like the season's going pretty good. It's much better chemistry than last year, and I feel like we're going to have a good season this year.
GP football played Alamo Heights before Thanksgiving break, however, did not return victorious.
We did get knocked out the second round, so I mean that's not what I want at all. I mean I'd much rather still be playing. But I mean the season was great. I mean I love all of our teammates, and you know our team was very special, I think.
GP boys basketball is getting ready to host their tournament the first full week of December.
So basically to play 2 sports, it makes not playing football anymore a little bit easier because I have another sport to go to. And it just means so much more to me just because with those guys it just feels amazing. So I think playing 2 sports is just the best thing you can do as a high school athlete.
That is all the wall candidates we have for this week. If you like what you saw, check out these QR codes and the link below. Thanks for watching.
And thank you, Isaiah. It's always neat to see what GP is doing over there.
It sure is. Due to unexpected circumstances, CHS has a new choir teacher. We stopped by to see how her transition is going.
Hello, Calallen TV. My name is Logan Braza, and I'm here with Mrs. Weaver today. So, Mrs. Weaver, you are the new choir teacher replacing Mrs. Monroe for middle school and high school. How does that feel?
It feels good. I'm excited.
As you hear, Mrs. Weaver is very excited for taking over the choir for both middle school and high school. She will be taking over the concert for choir and caroling for choir, and we look forward to this year with her, and we hope that she does a great job as the new choir teacher.
Miss Johns never seems to let up when it comes to teaching chemistry to her classes. Let's see what her AP students learned this week.
Okay, so I got word that Miss Johns had a lab today. Can you tell me more about that?
So we found an old bottle of hydrogen peroxide in the closet, and on the label it said it's 3% hydrogen peroxide, and so we were basically trying to prove that it was still 3% as it's on the label.
All right, and then how did you do that?
So basically, by doing a redox lab with titration, we got potassium permanganate with the hydrogen peroxide, and whenever we started mixing them together with a few other solutions, we basically, the they were balancing out electrons. And so whenever they did balance out their electrons for which each solution had, a pink tint to the solution when mixed together would show. And basically from that, we'll use the mole ratios of what we put into each solution to then determine if the hydrogen peroxide is actually 3%.
That sounds very complicated. Good job. Now back to the studio.
She always stays busy.
I know, I feel like she's doing a lab like every week.
Yeah. In a nice change of pace, Mrs. Luna's food science classes got to learn how to make pecan pies in addition to learning lifelong skills. Let's take a look in the kitchen.
Hey, it's Autumn here with Calallen TV, and I'm here with Josh. So, Josh, what are y'all doing in this class?
Today we're making miniature pecan pies, and tomorrow we're going to do miniature pumpkin pies.
Well, that's cool. And what is this class for?
It's primarily for whenever you graduate and go into the real world, you're able to make your own food and prepare yourself instead of going out to restaurants and eating all the time.
Well, thank you, and back to the studio.
Wow, first pecan pie and then apple pie. What's your favorite?
I really like apple pie.
I do too.
And Coach Hernser's AP classes finished the reading on the Crucible and got to participate in a witch hunt game that allowed the students to visualize the Salem witch trials. Let's take a look.
Morning, Cats. I'm Haley, and I'm here with Melissa. During Coach Hernser's class, his little experiment today, you were a villager. Can you tell me more about the experience?
Basically, we read the play The Crucible, and in The Crucible, people were just filled with hysteria in Salem, just constantly accusing other women or other people about being witches. It was really bizarre during that time, and sometimes they'd even do it for gaining land or just because if they had revenge on people. And this was all driven by like superstition. So in the game, what we're doing is people are reverends who save people, people are witches who kill people, and everyone else villagers, and I was a villager, and I was an innocent bystander accused by everybody in my class. Just for no reason.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for this insight. That's all from us. Now back to the studio.
In a blast from the past, our very own Nathan Atkinson, a 2022 graduate and state representative for FFA, swung by CHS to share some of his and his colleagues' wisdom to our current students.
Hello, I'm Dawson. I'm here with Calallen TV. Today I'm here with Nathan Atkinson. So he's a FFA state officer. So what do you do as that?
So as a state officer, pretty much we travel around my area, Area 10, from Brownsville up to just about San Antonio, and everywhere east and west of that. I travel doing leadership workshops, promoting agriculture, and talking to kids about how they can use ag education to better themselves and to get to college, get to their proper workforce, and just overall talking of all the opportunities, if I can talk this morning, all the opportunities of things in FFA.
All right, and I heard that you met some state legislators, so who did you meet?
So one of the things that we do in FFA as state officers is we always promote ag education. And so because of this, while we were in D.C., we did actually meet with some of our state representatives to Congress. For example, Ted Cruz. We were in Ted Cruz's office. I actually sat below his family portrait. And then went into the meeting room, and when he walked in, it's kind of surreal to see someone like Ted Cruz walk in, and you're like, wow, I just graduated high school. I'm meeting with this guy. But we talked about some different ag education potential bills and things that may go into place. So we love promoting agriculture and ag education, making sure it's around for the future. So because of that, we do meet with people such as one of John Cornyn's riders, drafters, things like that. As well as my teammate Bryce will be going to a lead experience this next week, doing stuff with the legislative body.
That's great, and that's all from us. Now back to the studio.
And wow, that state FFA team seems to always be on the road traveling around the state.
It really was neat to see him here again. Now let's slingshot it over to Mrs. Burkhart's class again on a lab on catapults and trebuchet.
Good morning, Cats. I'm Haley, and I'm here with Michaela. Michaela, y'all did Miss Burkhart's lab today. What was the objective of the lab?
Okay, so the objective was we had to make a catapult out of like normal household items, and we had to be able to launch a marshmallow at least 3 meters.
We did some research on how the trebuchet was different than the other ones, and we found that it was more accurate, so that's why we decided to do it, because it was more beneficial that way.
Alrighty, and how did y'all come up with the idea?
We basically heard a lot of people in our class saying that they wanted to do catapults, and so we were like, why don't we try something else? So we took on the challenge and came up with a trebuchet.
I really like those machines, especially the catapults that were hitting the targets from several meters out.
Impressive. The phlebotomy and EKG students have a certain number of sticks in order to get certified. Aaron was there to cover the story.
Good morning, Wildcats. I'm outside right here with Dr. Hodgkiss. Dr. Hodgkiss, I know you're taking all your students outside to see the phlebotomy students do their sticking today. Can you tell me more?
Yes, I have all my anatomy and forensic students classes coming outside to witness EKGs, phlebotomy. Students are actually being able to stick people who have waivers that are signed by both parents and them to allow them to get stuck, because these students that are phlebotomy that need to be certified need to have at least 25 sticks to get their certification before December.
So having your students watching you, do you think that made it a little bit more difficult, easier for the students to do their sticking?
I think it made it fun and a little bit intimidating, but when you have patients in your future, there might be people in the room, there might be children in the room, there might be other family members in the room, so it just kind of gets them less nervous for once they get into the field.
And now I'm here with Blaine. Blaine, so you got stuck. How was it?
It didn't hurt at all. It was pretty simple. They just stuck the needle in me, and that's it.
Were you worried or scared or anything?
No, not at all. Last year one of my friends passed out, but I never passed out.
So what does it feel like to help these students for the EKG and their phlebotomy to get their sticks in?
Well, it feels good, that I can do a part in helping them get that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for sticking today so they can get their certification. That's all from here. Let's take it back to the studio. It actually wasn't that bad of an experience. Camry did a really good job. Now let's take it to Monique with the rundown on sports.
Thank you, Aaron, and good morning, Wildcats. It's been over a week since we last updated our community about our sports program here in Calallen. Let's jump right into our Wildcat football team defeating the Davenport Wolves 22-14, advancing to the third round. From there, they took on Somerset and defeated them 31-17. I'm going to send it over to Michaela with those highlights.
Last Friday, the Somerset Bulldogs and the Calallen Wildcats met up in Beeville to play round 3 of the playoffs. The Somerset Bulldogs are coming into the game with a 10-2 record, while the Wildcats are coming into the game with a 12-0 record.
It's an honor to be mentioned in the Calallen Times as being a leading tackler as a sophomore. I couldn't do it without my coaches or teammates.
So the running back busts through the line and finds a little gap, and Isaiah Reyna's right behind me to fill in my man, and I have to go and make the tackle, and then we tackle him for a loss. The quarterback hurries to the right, and I have to ditch my responsibility with Isaiah Reyna right behind me, and I go and make the sack for a 20-yard loss.
We needed a touchdown. They're up 3-0, so coach dribbled play, and we just went and executed it. It was first play of the game, so we're just all trying to run to the ball, so that's what I was doing, is running to the ball. Or we got to proceed to the ball every play, so let's just do my job as a safety. Just coming down and running to the ball when I can.
On that play, the running back was just bouncing off with tackles, and I just knew how to get off my block, so I just spun off and made the tackle. The running back was just cutting back, so I just had to make the tackle on that one.
After a very hard-fought, intense game, the Calallen Wildcats came out with the win, so that means they're going on to round 4 of the playoffs.
With the win, the Wildcats advanced to the regional finals against perennial powerhouse Bernie Greyhounds. We will have the results from that game for you next week. At the beginning of this week, Dave Campbell's magazine honored Coach Campbell, our head football coach, Coach of the Week, for Week 14. Sonny got the story about his thoughts on the award.
Sonny here with Coach Campbell. So, Coach, this is your first year as our head coach, and we're now 13-0, and you have been named Dave Campbell's Coach of the Week. So how does it feel winning that award?
It's a big honor. I didn't even know about it until late yesterday afternoon when one of our coaches said something about it, and then I looked and got some text. But it's a big honor. Dave Campbell's magazine is the source of the award, and they've been around for decades. And no relation. Dave Campbell's not related to me, so I didn't get it because of nepotism. But no, it is a big honor. But we're 13-0 for several reasons. There's a lot of moving parts in our record, and it has to do with the team itself getting along and playing really well together, and it has to do with all the other coaches that contribute every week, all these hours and on the weekends, and to make our success and be 13-0.
The girls took on the King Mustangs in town and came away with a solid program sweep with all the teams winning. It was a good win for the varsity as they will be seeing some tough competition this week in Calallen's Battle of the Bay. The boys basketball team had a nice win against IWA. The Wildcats will also be competing in a tournament this week over in Aransas Pass. Swimming has a meet this week which will consist mostly of district opponents. Boys and girls golf have a tournament this Friday, and that's the latest on Calallen Sports. Back to you, Maddie.
Thank you, Monique. And you know that was a really tough game last night.
It was. We got to play in the beautiful Alamo Stadium, but those were some big, big boys.
Yes, they were. And here's Candace with today's weather forecast. How's it looking outside, Candace?
Thank you, Maddie, and good morning, Wildcats. Today's weather is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. You know, this week and also this weekend, we see the temperatures rise a little bit, but we're going to still see the cooler temperatures make an appearance whenever the sun goes down. But for right now, we're looking at some overcast skies with the temperature being 73 degrees, 33% chance of rain, the winds blowing from the east at 7 miles per hour. Looking further into the rest of the day, the temperature is going to drop to 74, 73, and as low as 66 later on tonight. So if you are doing anything outside, make sure you put on a jacket. Chance of rain also decreasing to as low as 15% and then 18% later on tonight. The winds will be blowing from the east at 8 miles per hour and then picking up to 10 miles per hour. Also looking further into Sunday, we're going to see the sun pop out a little bit to make the temperature being 75 degrees, 24% chance of rain, and the winds blowing from the east at 10 miles per hour. Also, there's exactly 22 days till Christmas, so make sure you have all your Christmas presents wrapped and ready. That's all for the weather, and back to the anchors.
Thank you, Candace, and I'm glad to see that the sun's finally popping out.
Yes, we're going to see more of that sun on Sunday, so get ready for that.
Guys, do y'all know what time it is?
What time is it?
Every 4 years they have the World Cup, and the U.S. made it out of the group stage this year.
It's really neat.
It is. And that's all your announcements for today, but now it's time for your joke of the day. So guys, what do you call a snowman with a six-pack?
I don't know, Aaron. What?
An abdominal snowman.
For you social people out there, make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CalallenTV for all the latest updates. Also, subscribe to us here on YouTube to catch all of our latest videos.
And as always, stay classy, Calallen.